It's 4:32 a.m. and I'm sitting in my car in a grocery store parking lot because I can't go home. I can't face that house, that bed, that life that I now know was built on the biggest lie anyone has ever told me. My name is Ryan, I'm 32 years old, and until 4 days ago I was a husband and father. Now I don't know what I am. The man who raised a child that isn't his? The fool who never suspected? The guy whose entire life was a carefully constructed deception? 4 days ago I had a daughter named Emma. She's 5 years old, or she was my daughter. I don't even know how to think about it anymore. She has my last name. She calls me Daddy. She looks at me with complete trust and love. And I just found out that biologically, genetically, she's not mine. She never was. I need to start from the beginning because I'm still trying to piece together how I got here, how I missed it, how my wife looked me in the eye every single day for 5 years and lied. My wife's name is Jessica. We met 7 years ago at a mutual friend's wedding. I was 25, she was 24. She was beautiful, outgoing, made friends easily. I was quieter, more reserved, but she seemed to like that about me. We dated for about 1.5 years before I proposed. Got married in a small ceremony. Nothing fancy, just family and close friends. About 6 months after the wedding, Jessica told me she was pregnant. I was terrified and excited in equal measure. We hadn't been trying, but we weren't preventing either. I remember the moment she showed me the positive test. We were in our bathroom. She was crying happy tears, and I picked her up and spun her around. I was going to be a dad. We were going to be a family. The pregnancy was relatively smooth. Jessica had some morning sickness in the first trimester, but nothing terrible. We did all the typical stuff. Painted the nursery, bought baby furniture, went to prenatal appointments together. I was at every ultrasound, holding her hand, watching our baby grow on that grainy black and white screen. Emma was born on a Tuesday in May. Labor was long, almost 20 hours. I was there the whole time, coaching Jessica through contractions, letting her squeeze my hand until I lost feeling in my fingers. When Emma finally came out screaming and red-faced, the doctor placed her on Jessica's chest and I cried. Actually cried. This tiny human that we'd made together was finally here. I cut the umbilical cord. I was the first one to hold her after Jessica. The nurse took photos of the three of us. New family, exhausted and happy. Those photos are still on our walls. I look at them differently now. Emma was a colicky baby. The first 3 months were brutal. Endless crying, barely any sleep, both of us running on fumes and coffee. But we got through it together. Or at least I thought we did. Now I wonder if Jessica was dealing with secret guilt on top of the exhaustion. If she looked at Emma and saw someone else. If every time I cooed over our daughter, she felt the weight of her lie. Emma grew into a sweet, energetic toddler. She was walking by 10 months, talking in full sentences by 2. She loved Daniel Tiger and dinosaurs and insisted on wearing her pink tutu over everything, even pajamas. She is the light of my life. Every day with her is a gift. Watching her discover the world, hearing her laugh, feeling her little hand slip into mine when we cross the street. Being her dad is the best thing I've ever done, or it was. Before I knew the truth, I need to tell you how I found out because it's so mundane, so routine, that it makes the devastation even worse. 4 days ago, Emma had a regular checkup with her pediatrician. Nothing special, just a 5-year well visit. Jessica was supposed to take her, but she had a work meeting she couldn't reschedule. So I said I'd do it. No big deal. I'd taken Emma to appointments before. The appointment was fine. Emma was brave getting her shots. The doctor said she was healthy and developing normally. Then Dr. Morrison asked if we'd ever done any genetic testing or screening. I said no, not beyond the standard stuff during pregnancy. He mentioned that they were now recommending expanded carrier screening for various genetic conditions. And since Emma was due for blood work anyway for the routine checkup, we could add it on if we wanted. I figured why not. More information is better, right? If Emma was a carrier for something, it would be good to know for her future. So I consented to the additional screening. Dr. Morrison said the results would take about a week. They'd call us either way. Emma got her blood drawn. She was so brave, barely even cried, and we left. Stopped for ice cream on the way home as a reward for being good at the doctor. She got chocolate chip mint and told me about her day at kindergarten. Normal day. Regular father-daughter time, except that blood draw was about to blow up my entire life. 3 days later, I was at work when my phone rang. Unknown number, but local area code. I answered. Is this Ryan Peterson? A woman's voice, professional. Yes, speaking. This is Dr. Morrison's office calling about Emma's recent lab work. Is now a good time to talk? My stomach dropped immediately. They said they'd call either way, but I'd assumed if everything was normal, they'd just leave a message. An actual call meant something was wrong. Is Emma okay? I asked, my heart racing. Emma's fine, the woman said. Her health markers all look good. But there's something we need to discuss with you. Is your wife available? We'd prefer to speak with both parents. She's at work. Can you just tell me what this is about? There was a pause. Mr. Peterson, I think it would be better if you and your wife came in to discuss this in person. Are you available this afternoon? I don't remember what I said. Something about being able to leave work, about meeting there. I hung up and immediately called Jessica. Hey babe, what's up? She sounded cheerful, normal. Dr. Morrison's office called about Emma's blood work. They want us to come in this afternoon to discuss something. Both of us, silence. Then, what did they say? Just that they want to talk to us in person. Jessica, what could this be? Is Emma sick? Could it be serious? I'm sure it's fine, Jessica said, but her voice had changed. Gotten tighter. These things are usually nothing. What time? We arranged to meet at the doctor's office at 3 p.m. I spent the intervening hours trying not to panic, Googling various genetic conditions, convincing myself that whatever this was, we'd handle it together. Emma was healthy. The doctor said she was healthy. This was probably just a precaution, extra information, something minor. I met Jessica in the parking lot. She looked pale, stressed. I reached for her hand and she let me take it. But her palm was sweaty. We sat in Dr. Morrison's office. His actual office, not an exam room. Which should have been my first clue. This wasn't a typical medical conversation. He was behind his desk, looking uncomfortable. There was another woman there, introduced as a genetic counselor. Thank you both for coming in, Dr. Morrison started. I want to assure you first that Emma is completely healthy. This isn't about any medical condition she has. Relief flooded through me. Oh, thank God. Then what? The genetic screening we ran includes blood type confirmation and some basic genetic markers, he continued. And we found something unexpected. I waited. Jessica's hand was gripping mine so hard it hurt. Mr. Peterson, what's your blood type? Dr. Morrison asked. Oh, positive, I said. Why? And Mrs. Peterson, yours? Positive, Jessica whispered. Dr. Morrison nodded slowly. Emma's blood type came back as AB positive. I blinked. Okay, and that's bad? The genetic counselor spoke up. Mr. Peterson, it's genetically impossible for two parents with O and A blood types to have a child with AB blood. AB requires one parent to be type B or AB. The room spun. I heard the words, but they didn't make sense. What are you saying? I'm saying that based on blood type alone, you cannot be Emma's biological father. The words hung in the air like smoke. I looked at Jessica. Her face had gone completely white. She was staring at the desk, not meeting anyone's eyes. That's impossible, I said. There must be a mistake. The lab mixed up samples, or we ran the test twice, Dr. Morrison said gently. I'm so sorry, but there's no error. The blood type is definitive. I turned to Jessica. Jess, tell them. Tell them there's been a mistake. She didn't say anything. She was crying silently, tears running down her face. Jessica, my voice cracked. I'm sorry, she whispered. Ryan, I'm so sorry. The room tilted. I stood up so fast my chair fell over backward. You're sorry? You're sorry? What the hell does that mean? Dr. Morrison and the counselor were talking. Something about privacy. About taking time to process. About resources for families dealing with paternity issues. I barely heard them. I was staring at my wife of 6 years, the mother of my child, the person I trusted more than anyone in the world, and watching her crumble. Is Emma mine? I asked. My voice sounded strange, distant. Jessica shook her head. Still not looking at me. Say it, I demanded. Say it out loud. You're not her biological father, Jessica sobbed. I walked out. Just walked out of that office, out of the building to my car. I sat in the driver's seat and I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Couldn't process what I'd just heard. Jessica came out a few minutes later. Got in the passenger seat. We sat in silence. "Ryan, please," she started. "Don't," I said. "Don't talk to me right now. We need to talk about this, not here." "Not now." I drove home on autopilot. Emma was at Jessica's mom's house for the afternoon. The house was empty. As soon as we got inside, I turned to Jessica. "Tell me everything. Right now." She was crying again, mascara running down her face. "It was before we were married. Right before you and I had that fight, remember? About moving in together? You wanted to wait until after the wedding, and I thought it was old-fashioned, and we fought about it. I remembered. We'd had a bad fight, didn't talk for a few days. Our only real rough patch before getting married. I went out with some friends from work," Jessica continued. "We went to a bar. I was upset I was drinking too much, and there was this guy. We talked, we drank more, and I went home with him. My legs felt weak. I sat down on the couch. It was one night," Jessica said. "One stupid drunk night. I felt terrible immediately. When you and I made up the next day, I decided to never tell you. It was a mistake, it meant nothing, and I didn't want to ruin what we had over one night. And then you got pregnant," I said flatly. She nodded. 2 months later, and I knew there was a chance it wasn't yours, but I told myself it had to be. We were sleeping together regularly, and it was just one night with him, and the timing. I convinced myself it was yours. You convinced yourself, I repeated, or you lied to yourself because it was convenient. I didn't know for sure, but you suspected, I shouted. You knew there was a possibility and you said nothing. For 5 years, Jessica. 5 years. You let me raise a child, love a child, believe she was mine, and you knew she might not be. I didn't know for certain. That doesn't matter. The second you knew there was a possibility, you should have told me. Before we named her, before I cut the cord, before I spent 5 years being her father, I deserve to know. I couldn't, Jessica sobbed. I couldn't risk losing you. I loved you. I love you. And I love Emma, and I couldn't tear our family apart. So you lied instead. You let me live a lie for 5 years. You're still her father, Jessica said desperately. Biology doesn't matter. You raised her. You're her dad in every way that counts. Don't, I said coldly. Don't you dare tell me biology doesn't matter. You robbed me of the choice. You robbed me of informed consent. Every single day for 5 years you looked at me and let me believe a lie. What do you want me to say? Jessica cried. That I'm sorry? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was scared and selfish, and I made a terrible decision, and I've had to live with the guilt every single day. Good, I said. You should feel guilty, because what you did is unforgivable. Please don't say that. We can work through this. We can go to counseling. Emma needs both her parents. Who is he? I interrupted. Jessica froze. What? The biological father. Who is he? It doesn't matter. Who is he? I don't know, she whispered. It was a one-night stand. I never got his last name. I don't even remember what he looked like, really. It was so long ago. You're lying. I'm not. I swear, Ryan, I don't know who he is. I couldn't find him if I tried. I laughed bitterly. So my daughter, sorry, your daughter, has a biological father out there somewhere who has no idea she exists. That's great. That's just great. Don't call her that, Jessica said sharply. She's our daughter. You've been her father since day one. That doesn't change. Everything changes. I shouted. Everything. Every memory, every moment, every time I looked at her and thought, she has my nose or she's stubborn like me, all of it was a lie. I was seeing what I wanted to see because you made me believe it. You're still her father. Stop saying that. I was on my feet now, pacing. I don't know what I am anymore. I don't know if I have any rights to her legally. I don't know if every time I look at her from now on, I'll see your betrayal instead of my daughter. I don't know anything except that my wife has been lying to me for 5 goddamn years. Jessica stood up too. So what are you saying? Are you leaving? Are you going to abandon Emma because she's not biologically yours? Don't you dare put this on me, I said. Don't you dare make me the bad guy here. You did this. You created this situation with your lies. I made a mistake. No, I cut her off. A mistake is something you do once. What you did was make a choice every single day for 5 years to keep lying to me. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern of deception. I grabbed my keys off the counter. Where are you going? Jessica asked, panicked. I don't know. Anywhere but here. Ryan, please don't leave. We need to talk about this. We need to figure out what to tell Emma. We're not telling Emma anything, I said. She's 5 years old. She doesn't need to know about this, so we just lie to her too. You lied to her, I corrected. You lied to all of us. I need time to think. Don't call me. Don't text me. I'll come back when I'm ready. I left, drove to a hotel and checked in, lay on the scratchy comforter and stared at the ceiling for hours. That was 4 days ago. I've been staying at this hotel ever since, going to work like a zombie, avoiding Jessica's calls and texts. She's tried everything. Apologies, explanations, begging me to come home so we can talk. Can't. Not yet. Emma doesn't know where I am. Jessica told her I'm on a work trip. I FaceTimed with Emma last night because I couldn't stand not seeing her face, hearing her voice. She showed me a drawing she made at school, a picture of our family, 3 stick figures holding hands. That's you, Daddy, she said, pointing to the tallest figure. I made you extra tall because you're the best daddy ever. I barely held it together until the call ended. Then I cried for an hour, because here's the thing, I love Emma. I love her more than anything in this world. She is my daughter in every way that matters to me. I raised her. I know her favorite foods and her fears and the exact way to read Goodnight Moon that makes her giggle. I've been there for every milestone, every scraped knee, every bedtime story. But now when I think about her, I also think about Jessica's betrayal. I think about the lie I've been living. I think about some stranger out there who contributed half of Emma's DNA and has no idea she exists. And I don't know how to reconcile those things. I don't know how to be Emma's dad while also processing that I'm not her biological father. I don't know how to look at my wife without seeing 5 years of lies. I've been doing research online, reading about paternity fraud, about men in similar situations. The stories are heartbreaking. Some men walk away entirely, unable to separate the betrayal from the child. Some stay and work through it, but their marriages never recover. Some find out when kids are teenagers and the revelation destroys the whole family. At least Emma is young. At least she doesn't understand what's happening. But what about when she's older? Do we tell her? When? How do you explain to your child that the man who raised her isn't biologically related? That her mother lied about it for her entire life? And what about me legally? I've been reading about paternity law. In our state, there's something called the presumed father doctrine. If you're married to the mother when the child is born, you're legally presumed to be the father, even if you're not biologically related. My name is on Emma's birth certificate. I've been acting as her father for 5 years. But I've also read stories of men who tried to maintain custody after situations like this and lost, of biological fathers showing up years later claiming parental rights, of messy, expensive legal battles that traumatize everyone involved, especially the kids. I need to talk to a lawyer. I need to understand what my rights are, what my options are. But that feels so clinical, so cold, like Emma is a legal problem to solve instead of my daughter. I called my brother yesterday. Tom is 2 years older than me, has 3 kids of his own. I told him everything. He was silent for a long time after I finished. Jesus, Ryan, I don't even know what to say. Me neither. What are you going to do? I have no idea. Part of me wants to file for divorce tomorrow. Part of me can't imagine leaving Emma. Part of me is so angry at Jessica I can barely think straight. And part of me just wants to pretend none of this happened and go back to my normal life. You can't pretend, Tom said gently. Not now that you know. I know. But I don't know what the alternative is. How do I move forward from this? Do you still love Emma? Of course I do. That's never changed. She's my daughter. Then that's your answer, Tom said. Whatever you decide about Jessica, don't let that change your relationship with Emma. She needs you, but it's not that simple. Because my relationship with Emma is inextricably tied to my relationship with Jessica. If I divorce Jessica, do I get custody? Visitation? Or does some judge decide that since I'm not biologically related, I have no rights? And how do I co-parent with someone who lied to me for 5 years? How do I trust Jessica with any decision about Emma's life when she's proven she'll lie about the most fundamental things? I've also been thinking about the biological father. Does he deserve to know? Even though it was a one-night stand, Emma is his child. Does he have a right to be part of her life? But then I think about Emma meeting some stranger and being told, "This is your real father," and I want to put my fist through a wall. I'm her real father. I'm the one who's been there. Biology is just genetics. Fatherhood is so much more than that, except, is it society says biology matters? That's why adopted kids often search for birth parents. Why DNA ancestry tests are so popular. Why the first question about a new baby is often, who does she look like? We pretend biology doesn't matter, but it does. It matters legally, medically, socially, and it matters to me. I can tell myself it doesn't. That love is what counts, but there's a part of me that feels cheated. That grieves the biological child I thought I had. That wonders what my actual biological child would have been like. Jessica has been leaving voicemails. Long, rambling messages about how sorry she is, how she wants to fix this, how she loves me. Her latest message, she said she'd do anything. Therapy, a post-nup, whatever I needed to feel secure. She said she understood if I needed time, but begged me not to give up on our family. Our family. The family built on her lies. I don't know if I can forgive this. I don't know if forgiveness is even the right goal. Some betrayals are too big, too fundamental. How do you forgive someone for stealing 5 years of your life? For making you love a child under false pretenses? For lying every single day? And even if I could forgive, could I forget? Could I ever look at Jessica the same way? Could I ever trust her again? Every time she's late coming home, every time she's on her phone, every time she goes out with friends, I'd wonder. I'd question. The trust is gone, shattered into a million pieces. But there's Emma. Sweet, innocent Emma who did nothing wrong. Who loves her daddy and doesn't understand why he's been gone for 4 days, who drew a picture of our family and called me the best daddy ever. Tom said, "Don't let this change my relationship with her." But how can it not? How can I look at her and not think about the lie? Not wonder about her biological father? Not see Jessica's betrayal reflected in her face? I hate that these thoughts are in my head. I hate that I can't just flip a switch and go back to seeing Emma as simply my daughter. I hate that Jessica's choices have poisoned something that was pure and good. I've started seeing a therapist. Online sessions because I can't face going to an office and sitting in a waiting room. The therapist, Dr. Allen, specializes in family trauma. I told him everything in our first session. "What you're experiencing is a form of betrayal trauma," he said. "Your reality has been fundamentally altered. It's normal to feel angry, confused, grieving. You're mourning the life you thought you had. How do I stop mourning and figure out what to do next?" "There's no rush," Dr. Allen said. "You don't have to make any big decisions right away. Right now, focus on processing your emotions. The clarity will come, but I feel pressure to decide. Emma is asking when Daddy is coming home. Jessica needs to know if I'm coming back, or if she should start looking for a divorce lawyer. My life is in limbo and I hate it. I went back to the house yesterday. Jessica was at work, Emma was at school. I just walked through the rooms looking at everything differently. Emma's drawings on the fridge. Our wedding photos in the hallway. Family pictures on the mantle. How much of this was real? When Jessica said "I do" at our wedding, was she already pregnant? Already suspecting the baby might not be mine? When I held Emma for the first time, was Jessica feeling relief that I didn't immediately suspect? Or guilt? I looked at Emma's baby photos, tried to see if I could tell she wasn't mine, but she just looked like a baby. All babies kind of look the same, wrinkly and red and generic. It was only as she got older that her features developed. And I'd attributed everything to my side of the family or Jessica's. She has your eyes. She has my mom's smile. We see what we want to see. There's a photo from Emma's 2nd birthday. She's covered in chocolate cake, grinning at the camera, and I'm next to her laughing. I look so happy in that photo. So completely content and unaware that my entire life was built on a lie. I took that photo off the mantle. I don't know why. I just needed to remove something, to make some kind of change to this house that suddenly feels like a museum of lies. Jessica came home while I was there. I heard her car in the driveway and I almost ran. But I stayed. "We need to talk eventually." She came in tentatively like she was afraid of me. "Ryan, you're here." I needed to get some things, I lied. I didn't need anything. I just couldn't stay away any longer. Please don't leave again, Jessica said. Please, we need to talk about this. We need to figure out how to move forward. How do you move forward from something like this, I asked. What's the roadmap for rebuilding a marriage after one person lied about paternity for 5 years? I don't know, Jessica said, crying again. She's been crying a lot, I've noticed. Good, she should cry. She should feel a fraction of the pain she's caused. But we have to try. For Emma. Don't use Emma as leverage, I said. This isn't about Emma, this is about you and your lies. It's not leverage, it's reality. She needs both her parents. You can't just disappear from her life. I haven't disappeared. I've been calling her every night. But you're not here, Jessica said. And she's starting to ask questions. She's scared, Ryan. She's 5 years old and her daddy is gone and she doesn't understand why. The guilt hit me like a punch. I'd been so focused on my own pain that I hadn't fully considered what this was doing to Emma. What did you tell her? That you're working a lot. That you'll be home soon. But she's not stupid. She knows something's wrong. This is your fault, I said. All of this is your fault. I know, Jessica said. I know it's my fault. I take full responsibility. But Emma doesn't deserve to be punished for my mistakes. So what do you want me to do? Come home and pretend everything is fine? Sleep in the same bed as you? Sit at the dinner table and play happy family? I want you to come home and figure it out with me, Jessica said. I want us to go to counseling. I want to give you whatever space you need while still being here for Emma. I want to earn back your trust, even though I know it'll take time. You can't earn back my trust, I said flatly. It's gone. You killed it. So that's it? Jessica's voice rose. One mistake and you're done? 6 years of marriage, 5 years of raising Emma together, and you're just throwing it all away? One mistake? I repeated incredulously. You call this one mistake? You made a choice to lie every single day. You looked me in the eyes thousands of times and lied. You let me fall in love with a child while hiding the truth. That's not one mistake. That's a pattern of deception that shows me exactly who you are. I'm someone who made a terrible decision because I was scared. Jessica shouted, I'm someone who loved you so much that I couldn't bear to lose you. I'm someone who has had to live with the guilt of this for 5 years. I'm not some monster, Ryan. I'm a person who made a mistake, and I'm begging you to give me a chance to make it right. How? I demanded. How do you make this right? You can't unlie to me. You can't give me back 5 years of truth. You can't make Emma biologically mine. So tell me, Jessica, how exactly do you make this right? She didn't have an answer. She just stood there crying, and I felt nothing but anger. I need more time, I said. I need to think. How much time? I don't know. As much as I need. And what about Emma? When are you going to come home and see her in person? That question broke something in me. I don't know if I can. Jessica's face went white. What does that mean? It means I don't know if I can look at her right now without seeing your betrayal. And she doesn't deserve that. She deserves a father who sees her, not my pain. So you're just abandoning her? Jessica's voice was shrill now. Because of something I did? I'm not abandoning her. I'm protecting her from me being a mess around her. She needs you, Jessica screamed. She's asking for you every day. She cries at night because you're not here to read her bedtime stories. You're hurting her by staying away. I'm hurting her? I shouted back. No, you hurt her. You created this situation. This is all on you. We stood there yelling at each other in the living room where we'd played with Emma hundreds of times, where we'd had family movie nights, where we'd built pillow forts and laughed together. That life felt like it belonged to someone else now. I can't do this, I said, suddenly exhausted. I can't be here. I left again. Drove around aimlessly for hours. Eventually ended up at a park where I used to take Emma on weekends. Sat on a bench and watched other families. Dads pushing kids on swings. Parents catching their toddlers at the bottom of slides. Normal families doing normal things. That used to be me. Now I don't know what I am. My phone buzzed. A text from Tom. How are you holding up? I typed back, I don't know how to be Emma's dad anymore. Tom called immediately. What do you mean? Every time I think about her, I think about the lie. I can't separate them. You love her though, right? That hasn't changed? Of course I love her. But is love enough? Is it enough to overcome knowing that she's not really mine? She is really yours, Tom said firmly. You changed her diapers. You walked her to her first day of school. You taught her to ride a bike. You're her father in every way that actually matters. But what about biology? What about her medical history? What about when she needs a kidney or bone marrow or something? And I'm not a match because I'm not actually related to her. Then you deal with it if it happens, Tom said. But you can't let hypotheticals destroy your relationship with her now. It's not hypothetical. It's real. She's not my biological daughter. That's a fact I have to live with forever. Okay, Tom said. So she's not biologically yours. Does that change how you feel about her? I thought about that. Emma's laugh. Her obsession with dinosaurs. The way she holds my hand when we cross streets. The way she runs to me when I come home from work. Did any of that change because of biology? No, I admitted. But it changes everything else. It changes my marriage. It changes how I see the past 5 years. It changes my trust in her mother. And I don't know how to compartmentalize that. I don't know how to be her dad while also being this angry and hurt. Then you need to talk to someone, Tom said. A therapist who specializes in this stuff. Because Emma needs you, Ryan. And you need her too, even if you can't see it right now. I'm seeing Dr. Allen again tomorrow. I have a list of questions. How do I separate my anger at Jessica from my relationship with Emma? How do I trust anything again? How do I know if I'm staying for the right reasons? How do I co-parent with someone who lied to me for 5 years? How do I explain this to Emma when she's old enough to understand? The questions feel overwhelming, like too much to untangle. Like my entire life is a knot that can't be undone. It's almost 5 a.m. now. The grocery store is starting to get deliveries. I should probably find somewhere else to sit. Maybe go back to the hotel. Maybe go to the office early and bury myself in work. Or maybe I should go home. Not to reconcile with Jessica. I'm nowhere near ready for that, but to see Emma. To read her a bedtime story tonight. To remind myself why I'm going through all this pain and confusion. Because at the end of the day, Emma didn't choose any of this. She's an innocent kid who loves her daddy and doesn't understand why her world is falling apart. And I am her daddy, biology be damned. I've earned that title through 5 years of showing up, of loving her, of being there. Jessica's betrayal doesn't change that. Or at least I don't want it to change that. I don't have answers yet. I don't know if I'll stay married or get divorced. I don't know if I'll ever forgive Jessica. I don't know how to rebuild trust that's been shattered so completely. I don't know how to look at my life going forward, but I know I love Emma, and I know she needs me. And maybe that's enough to start with. Maybe that's all I need to know right now. I'm going to drive home, not to Jessica, but to Emma. I'm going to walk in that door, scoop my daughter up in my arms, and remember what matters. The biological father, whoever he is, missed everything. He missed the 3 a.m. feedings and the first smile and the first steps. He missed the terrible twos and the first day of preschool. He missed scraped knees and bad dreams and tea parties with stuffed animals. He missed all of it. I was there. I am there. That has to count for something. I start the car. The sun is starting to come up, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. A new day. Maybe not a fresh start. The past doesn't disappear, but a continuation. A chance to figure out what comes next. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Jessica. Please come home. Emma misses you. I miss you. We can figure this out together. I don't respond, not yet. I'm not ready to talk to her about us or figuring it out. But I am ready to go home to Emma. The drive takes 15 minutes. The streets are empty this early. I pull into the driveway and sit for a moment, looking at the house. Our house. The house where we brought Emma home from the hospital. Where we celebrated her first birthday. Where we've lived as a family. That family is broken now. Maybe irreparably. But Emma is still inside. Probably still asleep in her purple bedroom with the glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling that I stuck up there last year. I use my key to open the door quietly. The house is silent. I walk up the stairs, careful to avoid the creaky third step. Emma's door is slightly ajar, her nightlight casting a soft glow. I push the door open and there she is. Curled up under her dinosaur comforter, her dark hair spread across the pillow, one arm wrapped around her favorite stuffed elephant. She looks so small, so peaceful, so innocent of all the adult drama swirling around her. I stand in the doorway for a long time, just watching her breathe. This little girl who I've loved since the moment I first held her. This little girl who calls me daddy and thinks I can fix anything. This little girl who is mine in every way that matters except one. And in that moment, standing in her doorway at 5:30 in the morning, something shifts in me. The anger is still there, burning justified anger at Jessica's betrayal. The hurt is still there, this deep aching wound that might never fully heal. The confusion is still there, a million questions about what happens next. But underneath all of that, there's love. Simple, uncomplicated love for this child. My child biology gave her life, but I gave her everything else. And no DNA test, no blood type results, no revelation of past betrayals can take that away. I hear a sound behind me. Jessica, standing in the hallway in her bathrobe, her eyes red and swollen from crying. She sees me looking at Emma and more tears spill down her cheeks. "Ryan," she starts. I hold up a hand. "Not now." "Not here," she nods, understanding. We stand there together, both looking at our sleeping daughter. This child who connected us, who we both love, who deserves better than what we've given her this past week. "I'm staying," I whisper. "For now. For Emma. We sleep in separate rooms. We don't talk about anything serious in front of her. We pretend everything is normal for her sake. And we start counseling, both of us together, and me individually." "Okay," Jessica whispers back. "Whatever you need. Thank you for coming home." "I'm not home," I correct her. "I'm here for Emma. Don't confuse the two." She flinches but nods. "Okay." Emma stirs in her bed, making a small sound. We both freeze, but she doesn't wake up. Just shifts position and settles back into sleep. "I'm going to get some of my things from the master bedroom," I say. "I'll take the guest room." Jessica nods again. She looks like she wants to say more, to reach for me, to apologize again, but she stays where she is, arms wrapped around herself, looking smaller and more fragile than I've ever seen her. I walk past her to what was our bedroom. It still smells like her perfume. The bed is unmade. She probably hasn't been sleeping well either. I grab clothes, toiletries, my laptop, pack them in a bag, take my pillow. When I come back out, Jessica is still in the hallway. "Ryan, I know you don't want to talk right now, but I need you to know I never meant to hurt you. I know that sounds hollow, but it's true. I was scared and selfish and I made terrible choices. But I do love you. I've always loved you. Love isn't supposed to look like this," I say quietly. "Love is supposed to be honest, safe, built on truth. What you did, that's not love, Jessica. That's selfishness disguised as love." "I know," she whispers. "And I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make it up to you if you let me." "I don't know if I can let you," I say honestly. "I don't know if I have it in me to forgive this. But I'm here for Emma. That's all I can promise right now." I walk past her to the guest room, close the door, sit on the bed and put my head in my hands. I'm home, but nothing feels like home anymore. Everything is different, shifted, broken. And I don't know if it can be fixed. But I'm here. For Emma, for my daughter. That's the only thing I'm certain of right now. It's been 2 weeks since I came home. 2 weeks of living in the same house as Jessica, but barely speaking to her. 2 weeks of pretending everything is fine for Emma's sake. 2 weeks of individual therapy and the beginning of couples counseling. Emma is happy I'm home. She doesn't understand why Daddy is sleeping in the guest room. We told her I snore too loudly and Mommy needs better sleep for work. She doesn't understand why there's tension between her parents. She just knows Daddy's home and that's all that matters to her 5-year-old brain. Watching her with Jessica is complicated. Jessica is a good mother, I can't deny that. She's patient with Emma, creative, attentive. She reads to her every night, helps with homework, packs healthy lunches. If you watch them together, you'd never guess the secret she's been keeping. But I see it differently now. Every time Jessica laughs at something Emma says, I wonder if she's seeing the biological father's humor. Every time she brushes Emma's hair, I wonder if she's remembering that other man. Every innocent moment between them is tainted for me by the knowledge of the lie. Couples counseling is brutal. Our therapist, Dr. Martinez, doesn't pull punches. In our second session, she asked Jessica directly, "Why didn't you tell Ryan from the beginning that there was a possibility he wasn't the biological father?" Jessica broke down. "Because I wanted him to be the father. I wanted it so badly that I convinced myself he was." And by the time I couldn't deny the possibility anymore, I was in too deep. Telling him would have meant losing everything. So you chose to protect yourself, rather than be honest with your partner, Dr. Martinez said. Yes, Jessica admitted. And I know how selfish that was. Dr. Martinez turned to me. Ryan, where are you in processing this? I don't know, I said. Some days I think I can work through this for Emma's sake. Other days I want to pack a bag and never look back. I'm angry all the time. At Jessica, at the situation. At myself for not seeing it sooner. What would have changed if you'd seen it sooner? Dr. Martinez asked. Everything, I said immediately. Then I paused. Or maybe nothing. If I'd known Emma might not be mine when she was born, would I have walked away? Or would I have taken a paternity test and stayed anyway? Would you have stayed if you'd known for certain she wasn't yours? Dr. Martinez pressed. I sat with that question for a long moment. I don't know. Part of me wants to say yes, that I would have loved her anyway. But I don't know if that's true or if I'm rewriting history to make myself feel better. You can't rewrite history, Dr. Martinez said. You can only deal with the present. And the present is that Emma exists. You've been her father for 5 years. And you have to decide what role you want in her life moving forward. I want to be her father, I said. I just don't know if I can be her father while being married to someone who lied to me for 5 years. Jessica started crying again. She cries a lot in these sessions. I feel bad about it sometimes, then remember why we're here and the sympathy evaporates. Have you considered divorce? Dr. Martinez asked bluntly. Every day, I admitted. Jessica's face crumpled, but I continued. But I don't know what happens to my relationship with Emma if I divorce Jessica. Do I have legal rights? Can I get custody or visitation? Or does the fact that I'm not biologically related mean I lose everything? You should consult with a family lawyer about that, Dr. Martinez said. But Ryan, I want you to separate those two issues. Your relationship with Jessica is one thing. Your relationship with Emma is another. Don't let your anger at Jessica dictate how you show up for Emma. That's easier said than done, I said. Every time I look at Emma, I'm reminded of Jessica's lie. Then we need to work on that, Dr. Martinez said. Because Emma is innocent in all of this, and she deserves a father who can see her clearly, not through the lens of her mother's mistakes. I've also been seeing Dr. Allen individually. He's been helping me work through the trauma of the revelation, the betrayal, the grief for the life I thought I had. You're experiencing something called ambiguous loss, Dr. Allen explained. Emma is still here, still your daughter in practical terms, but you've lost the biological connection you thought you had. You're grieving that loss while the person is still present in your life. How do I stop grieving? I asked. You don't, Dr. Allen said gently. You learn to carry it. You acknowledge the loss while also acknowledging what remains. You're not Emma's biological father, but you are her dad. Those are two different things. Are they? I asked. To me, they feel like the same thing. Because society tells us they're the same, Dr. Allen said. But step-parents, adoptive parents, foster parents, they're all proof that biology and parenthood aren't synonymous. The question is, can you separate them in your own mind? I'm working on it. Some days are better than others. I consulted with a family lawyer like Dr. Martinez suggested. The news was complicated. In our state, you're the legal father, the lawyer explained. You're on the birth certificate. You've been acting as her father for 5 years and you're married to the mother. Even if the biological father came forward tomorrow, you'd have stronger legal standing because you've established paternity through action and relationship. So if I divorce Jessica, I can get custody? You can fight for custody, the lawyer said. But family courts prioritize the mother in most cases, especially with young children. You'd likely get visitation, maybe shared custody depending on the circumstances. But you need to understand, Jessica could challenge your parental rights if she wanted to. She could argue that since you're not biologically related, you don't have standing. Would she win? Probably not, given the established relationship. But it would be messy and expensive and traumatic for everyone involved, especially Emma. So I'm stuck, I said. If I leave Jessica, I risk losing Emma. If I stay with Jessica, I have to live with her betrayal. I'm not here to tell you what to do, the lawyer said. But I will say this. If you want to maintain your relationship with Emma, don't file for divorce while you're angry. Get your emotions sorted first, then make decisions from a place of clarity. Good advice. But clarity feels impossible right now. Emma had a play date last weekend with her friend from school. The friend's dad was there and we made small talk while the girls played. He asked how long I'd been married. 6 years, I said automatically. Best years of your life, right? He said with a laugh. My wife and I just celebrated 10 years. Wouldn't trade it for anything. I smiled and nodded, but inside I was screaming. Because no, they weren't the best years of my life. They were years built on a lie. Every anniversary, every birthday, every holiday, all of it tainted by Jessica's deception. Watching Emma play with her friend, I wondered if the friend's dad ever worried that his kids weren't his. Or if he had the luxury of trust, of taking paternity for granted because his wife hadn't betrayed him. I used to have that luxury. Now I'll never have it again, with anyone. Because even if I leave Jessica and eventually meet someone new, how will I ever fully trust them? How will I not demand paternity tests? How will I not see every pregnancy as a potential deception? Jessica ruined more than our marriage. She ruined my ability to trust completely, to love without suspicion, to believe in the fundamental honesty of intimate relationships. That might be the thing I can't forgive. Not the affair itself, not even the initial lie, but the fact that she let it continue for 5 years, knowing that every day she stayed silent was another day of betrayal. That's the unforgivable part. Last night, Emma had a nightmare. She came into the guest room crying, looking for comfort. I held her while she told me about the scary monster in her dream, stroking her hair, telling her she was safe, that Daddy was here. I love you, Daddy, she said as she fell back asleep in my arms. I love you too, baby girl, I whispered. And I meant it, completely unconditionally. In that moment, holding my daughter, the biology didn't matter. She was mine because I chose her to be mine, every day for 5 years. But then morning came, and Jessica made breakfast, and I saw her looking at Emma with guilt in her eyes, and the anger came flooding back. It's a constant cycle. Love for Emma, anger at Jessica. Grief for what I lost, gratitude for what I still have. Desire to leave, fear of losing Emma, round and round, exhausting and endless. I don't know how long I can sustain this. Living in the same house as someone I can barely look at. Pretending for Emma's sake that everything is okay. Going through the motions of family life while feeling hollow inside. Dr. Martinez says it takes time. That healing from betrayal this deep is a process measured in years, not weeks. That I need to be patient with myself. But I'm not good at patience. I want answers now. I want to know if I should stay or go. If I should fight for my marriage or end it. If I should forgive or walk away. I want certainty in a situation that offers none. The only thing I'm certain of is Emma. My love for her hasn't wavered, hasn't diminished, hasn't been compromised by the revelation of her paternity. She's still my daughter. She always will be. Everything else is question marks. Will I stay married to Jessica? I don't know. Can I ever trust her again? I don't know. Can I forgive what she did? I don't know. What kind of father will I be to Emma going forward? I don't know. What does my future look like? I don't know. But I know I'll be in Emma's life. That's non-negotiable. Whether I'm living in the same house or visiting on weekends, whether I'm married to her mother or divorced, I'll be there for her. Because that's what fathers do. They show up. They love their kids. They put their children's needs above their own pain. I'm her father. Not biologically, but in every other way that counts. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that has to be enough. It's 6 a.m. now. Emma will be up soon, ready for another day of kindergarten. I'll make her breakfast, pack her lunch, walk her to the bus stop holding her hand. I'll be her dad, just like I have been for 5 years. And tonight, I'll lie in the guest room and wrestle with impossible questions about marriage and trust and forgiveness and the future. This is my life now. Broken and complicated and nothing like I thought it would be. But Emma is still in it. And as long as she is, I'll keep showing up. That's all I know how to do. That's all any of us can do. Show up, love the best we can, and hope that somehow, someday it's enough.